Welcome everybody to Forza Motorsport 7, and today we're taking a look at the newly released March car pack. Now this was released along the March update, which put a whole host of new features on the game. But yeah, this car pack is the main part of the update, and yeah, it's an incredible car pack with a nice variety as well. It's got 4 racing cars and 3 road cars, and yeah, the racing cars are quite varied in of themselves, and the first of them is this Alfa Romeo from 1932, the 8C2300 Spider. Now, even though it is a racing car, it is a car that's going to get a review of its own, like the 3 other road cars. And yeah, it's purely because it's a classic. It's the oldest Alfa Romeo we've ever had on a Forza game by 2 years, and yeah, there's plenty to say about it. So yeah, I want to give it a full fat review of it its own rather than a few minutes on this review of the car pack. So yeah, I look forward to driving that and showing it off to you guys. The next car is this, the 1977 Brabham number 8 Motor Racing Developments BT45B. A car that wasn't all that successful in racing. Only the highest point it came was second in the 1977 French Grand Prix, but it's got a pretty solid engine going for it. It's a 3 litre flat 12 engine which produces 500 horsepower and 239 pounds-feet of torque, which is pretty decent for a car from 1977, and it's actually an engine that was developed by Alfa Romeo. So yeah, Italian engine and pretty solid all-round looking body. The B was actually a development of the standard BT45, as it has less weight and I think better rear suspension. So yeah, being a racing car, we're going to take it out onto the track and see what it can do. So see you when we get there. Right, we're at the Le Mans Bugatti circuit. Came here because, well, it did win it. Well, came second in the French Grand Prix, so may as well take it on the only French track we have on this game. So yeah, it's your atypical racing car, quite frankly. Huge tyres, plenty of downforce from its wings and aerodynamics in general, and as you can see, plenty in terms of acceleration and speed. And the amount of revs that this flat 12 does is insane, more than 11,000 RPM. It's practically you know, superbike territory that. So yeah, incredibly powerful and incredibly quick, and the acceleration times are kind of proof of that. 0 to 60, oh dear, in 2.5 seconds. 0 to 104.88, 3 seconds, going on to a top speed of 177 miles an hour, which is not all that bad considering how much aerodynamics are pushing the car down the faster you go. So yeah, 177 mile an hour is fairly decent, and I really like what you can see moving around in the rear end of this car. You can see the, I think that's the diffs, or something to do with the engine whirring around there above the exhaust. Well, unless it is interesting that they have done such a detailed version of detailed, you know, piece of the engineering on this car for this game. And yeah, handling wise is exactly what you'd expect. The faster you go, the better handling you have. So yeah, nothing much to set it apart from the typical racing cars that we've had on this series, but I'm sure racing enthusiasts who like these sort of vehicles are happy about this vehicle's inclusion. And yeah, it does at least make the variety of classic races that bit better. So yeah, not much to say really about it, but it is a good handling, fairly fast and incredibly high powered car with properly high in revs, and it can make the most of that 500 horsepower. In fact, it only weighs 1,290 pounds, so yeah, really not much in the way of weight to lug around. So yeah, let's take a look at the next vehicle in this car pack. And this is the next car, the 2017 Chevrolet Colorado ZR2. Now, despite the fact it is a pickup truck that is far more suitable for going off-road than on-road or even on a track, this is actually a fairly fun car to drive, which doesn't obviously look like it is from the stats. It doesn't have the best handling or braking according to the stats, but it actually is fairly decent in terms of driving, and acceleration isn't half bad either. So yeah, another car that will get reviewed just like the Alfa Romeo. and I look forward to doing it, quite frankly, because yeah, it's fairly surprising considering how it looks. So yeah, let's move on to the next vehicle, which we will get into, because it is a racing car, and we take racing cars out. So yeah, it's a 1983 Jaguar number 44 Group 44 XJR5. As you can see, in terms of the stats, incredible handling and braking. Acceleration is practically near the top, and speed isn't half bad either. Let's take a look at it in Forza Vista. So yeah, early 80s mid-engine racer, which was made for the IMSA series, and yeah, did fairly well as well. Debuted at Road America, coming third, and got 4 wins overall in that year, so pretty successful. And some of that is obviously down to the incredible power from this really rather large engine, which we'll take a look at if it lets us. So yeah, 5.3 litre V12 engine producing 525 horsepower and 430 pounds-feet of torque, which is pretty good, especially when you consider the car only weighs 2,030 pounds. So again, like the Brabham, not much in the way of weight and plenty of power. And yeah, obviously with those aerodynamics, handling is pretty solid as well, to go along with the huge tyres, which again is like plenty of other racing cars. I do like the way the doors open like that, but then again that's probably just the ease of getting in and out of the car when you're trying to change drivers. So yeah, we're going to take this out onto a track again, just like we did with the Brabham, and see what it can do. So see you when we get there. Since this car made its debut in Road America, it seems fitting for us to go on Road America with this review. So yeah, here we are. Just for the one lap, see what this Jag can do. So yeah, it's kind of similar to that Brabham in the fact that it has around the same kind of power, so it's a horsepower especially, and it is obviously a 12-cylinder engine, though it's a V12 rather than a flat 12. But this is more about handling than outright acceleration, to be honest, because acceleration wise it is actually slower than that Brabham. 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds and 0 to 106.6. But despite the fact that this obviously has a huge rear wing and plenty of other aerodynamics that will help push the car down, it can do 213 miles an hour. So yeah, not as quick as terms of acceleration as a Brabham, but top speed wise it is better, and handling wise it is better as well, despite the fact that there is obviously only 6 years between the two cars. The difference in the way they look and the way they handle is remarkable. Obviously they were made for different, series. Brabham was made for F1, this was made for IMSA, but nonetheless it is interesting to see the differences in races just 6 years apart, and how easily changed they were. Easily making it around there. Certainly see why this car came third place here. Barely any need to brake or lift off at all on some corners. Obviously that high rate of speed will help it on the long straights that this track offers up. So yeah, pretty good handling car, especially for a early 80s racer. And it would eventually lead Jaguar on to a Le Mans win in 1990. So yeah, pretty historic moment for Jaguar, especially since they were away from racing for more than 2 decades at this point. But they came back in big style, and yeah, obviously helped them later on in life. So yeah, another solid racing car, though obviously like pretty much every racing car on this game, I'm not a massive fan of, but again, I see the reason for it being in the game, and I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who will enjoy its presence on this game, and I'm more than happy for them to have that kind of thing, because I like my certain cars, other people like their certain cars. It's all about compromise when it comes to a game like this, and not about what you want and what you only want out of your wish list. So yeah, glad it's on the game. It's a fun car to drive, and certainly will please some people. Anyway, let's move on to the next vehicle. And this is the next vehicle, the 2017 Lincoln Continental. Been long overdue, Lincoln making a return to the Forza series. Last time we had a Lincoln in a Forza game was Forza Motorsport 4 with a 60s Lincoln Continental, and even though I would prefer a 60s Lincoln Continental to be in this game, I'm more than happy for them to be in the game at all, quite frankly. So yeah, glad they're finally back, and yeah, this is a fairly decent car, especially in terms of speed and acceleration, as you can see, though the handling and braking leaves much to be desired. But it's going to be an interesting vehicle to review overall, and yeah, I look forward to doing it. So yeah, hope you will enjoy that one. So yeah, let's move on to the final racer from this car pack, and it's a Nissan, as you can see, the 1988 Nissan number 33 Bob Sharp Racing 300 ZX. So yeah, pretty powerful vehicle, 680 horsepower, 508 pounds-feet of torque, weighing only 2,600 pounds, and yeah, certainly got the looks to go with the power. Now obviously we have the 90s 300 ZX racer is also on this game, which has more power, more torque, etc. So I am a little bit ambivalent about why this needs to be on the game if we've already got a newer, better version. But nonetheless, it does at least widen the variety for racers on this game, which is always a good thing. And yeah, it gets all that power from a 3-litre turbocharged V6 engine. So despite being quite a small engine, it's got a hefty punch going for it. No doubt, mostly down to that turbocharger. And yeah, not much else to really say about it, to be honest. Paul Newman, I think, was behind these cars, you know, the film actor. And yeah, obviously more famous for doing film than racing, but nonetheless he did contribute a lot to the racing scene. So yeah, let's get out onto the track and see what this car can do. So we're at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Imagine the track that this car went round, though I'm not quite sure on that. Nonetheless, it is a good track, certainly one that can show off the best and worst of a car. So let's get going. Quite slow to start, but it more than picks up speed as we go for the gears. So yeah, a little bit less of a car in terms of handling and acceleration than the Brabham and the Jag, but it does have plenty of power, which it probably needs considering how much it weighs, but it does at least weigh less than the 90s version of this car, though I don't think a lack of 105 pounds or thereabouts makes up for a 100 horsepower deficit and about 92 pound-feet of torque deficit. Oh dear, sorry, I was looking at my notes a bit too much there. But nonetheless, it's still pretty sharpish in terms of acceleration. 0 to 64 seconds, 0 to 107.8, and going to a top speed of 195 mile an hour, which is not too bad, especially for something that is based on a real vehicle, unlike the Jaguar and the Brabham. So they have that kind of advantage, really. But yeah, pretty good in terms of handling and braking as well. No, not perfect. You can definitely feel the difference in terms of aerodynamics and weight over the Jaguar and the Brabham. But again, I'm sure there are people that will enjoy this car and certainly will enjoy the racing that might come about between this and the newer version. It'll be interesting to see the differences between the two while they're racing against one another. But yeah, it is again another racing vehicle, but I'm all for them being in the car packs as long as they aren't the only part of the car pack. And they aren't, quite frankly, because we've got 4 of them, but you can count 3 of them as modern-ish racers, and then you've got the classic Alfa. But nonetheless, we're going to take a look at the final road car, and then we'll round up this review, so see you when we get there. And this is the final road car out of the car pack, the 2017 Volvo XC90R design. I'm extremely glad that this car is in the game for 2 reasons. One, we've never had a Volvo SUV before in a Forza game, so it's a nice new addition to the series. And secondly, it's got a really rather interesting engine setup. It's got a 2-litre inline-4 engine, which isn't anything really to shout home about, but it's supercharged, turbocharged, and it's a hybrid. So yeah, there's really no lag whatsoever when you talk in terms of acceleration in this car, because obviously the electric part of the vehicle will be there instantly as soon as you're pressing the accelerator. The turbocharger will spool up fairly instantly, and then the turbocharger will be there at the higher revs, so you've pretty much got power all the way. And for a car that weighs more than 500,000 pounds, 400 horsepower, 472 pounds-feet of torque is not too bad at all. And yeah, handling and braking is fairly decent as well. So yeah, another car I look forward to reviewing. And yeah, I highly recommend this car pack again. It's an improvement over the previous one because there are 4 cars here that I really like over the 3 that were in the previous one. And yeah, somewhat more interesting choices as well, especially that Alfa. Really like the fact that we've finally got Lincoln back in the game. Finally got a Volvo SUV with an interesting setup. And yeah, then you also have that Chevy pickup, which is really rather interesting as well, as far as I'm concerned, because it's a car without massive amounts of power or even a massive engine, and yet it's able to perform despite that, because Chevy have been clever in their design. So yeah, recommend the car pack, and yeah, hopefully I doubt it'll quieten the fanboys who are crying over every car that isn't in the game that they want for whatever reason, but it certainly pleased me, and I hope it pleases plenty of other people as well. So yeah, get it if you want it, or get it if you're interested in cars in general, because again, variety has been improved once again thanks to a new car pack. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.